Impact Productions is proud to present one of the finest turkey hunting videos ever produced. You'll see veteran hunters Jay Gregory and Don Kiske as they perform their magic on wary eastern gobblers. You'll also team up with Mark and Terry Drury for a thrilling trip to the Oklahoma Panhandle. A special guest appearance by Jameson Parker proves to be successful and rewarding. All of this crammed into an action-packed adventure to showcase a premier call line in the industry. This state-of-the-art call line was developed and perfected by four-time world champion caller Mark Allen Drury and known as none other than M.A.D calls. Sweeping the nation, this innovative call line is fast becoming the choice of the hunter of the 90s. Improve your success ratio this spring by customizing your own calls with the Call Maker. This highly advanced technological tool allows you to build your own calls exactly the way you want them. Tailor fit, this now enables you to achieve the tones and sounds that were never before possible. This unique component call system will revolutionize the entire turkey hunting industry by enabling you to build calls for you and your friends. To spark that gobbler for pinpoint location, M.A.D Calls perfected the Surefire Locator series. The owl hooter, crow call, pileated woodpecker, and tube call have all been effectively used time and time again, proving to be the demise of many a gobbler. Knowing the needs of the hunter, Mark Drury and Steve Stoltz combined their talents to develop a mouth call for everyone. No matter if you're pulling a gobbler into 20 yards or calling at a world championship, this is the answer to every caller's needs. Not only have they developed an impressive line of mouth calls, but have literally climbed to the top with an intimidating line of friction calls. Regardless whether you're using a slate call, box call, or a push button, the intolerable sounds overwhelm unsuspecting gobblers. For the complete hunter, M.A.D Calls has genuinely pooled their woods-wise skills into a white-tailed deer line that is absolutely incredible. This powerful line features the new Buck Stopper, a must-try invention developed by Mark Allen Drury and Jim Neighbors. Rounding out the M.A.D Calls line are the mossy oak accessories that are truly trusted in and believed in. Consisting of head nets, packs, and gloves, you'll find that it takes real hunters to know what real hunters need.
Opening an early morning conversation with a responsive hen can sometimes lead to an exciting hunt. After becoming a little more aggressive, these two jakes were the first birds in. Fortunately for me, this adult was not going to be denied an opportunity at hand. Having spotted the feather-flex decoy, this bird elected to circle our position as adult gobblers will often do. Whew. What an exciting hunt, and what a thrill. What a thrill for me. I'll tell you, part of my success comes from the fact that the Drury Outdoors Hunting Team is tickled to death to be featuring a new call line that we're trying this year, M.A.D calls. And what's happened, a group of professional callers, namely Mark Drury, my brother, Steve Stoltz, Dale Whippler, and a number of other professional callers have gotten together, taking their professional calling skills, incorporated that into their hunting techniques and hunting skills, and came up with an effective call line that I think everyone will be able to use.
Boy, this gobbler's up here on top of this pasture with a bunch of hens somewhere. There he is. He's answering me, but he's got a whole bunch of hens with him. It's going to be awfully tough to get him to come away. He's up on top of this pasture. There's like a waterway out here. I'm going to try and slip up this waterway and put as much pressure on him as I can, get in as tight as I can, and try and pull him away from those hens. I'm going to have to do something quick because I'm running out of daylight. So I'm going to kind of have to push it to the limit here. See what happens.
Trusting and believing in your camouflage will allow you to try setups that you may have never dreamt possible. Watch as Jay utilizes his mossy oak in this open field setup.
How's that for a late evening gobbler there? I'll tell you what happened tonight was we were coming in here for an evening hunt and we saw this bird out in the middle of this field with a whole bunch of hens. We decided to try and get in on him as close as we could without spooking him, of course. We got in on him. I worked him hard with this MVP diaphragm from M.A.D. And boy, I tell you what, even with all those hens, it took me a while, but I finally coaxed him away from him. And I slipped up this little waterway and called him down through the top of this, from the top of this hill down through these tall weeds to the CRP ground. He finally slipped in there close enough that I could take him. It was a good hunt. Tough bird. Whenever they got hens, you really got to work hard, but hard work paid off this time.
There's two of them. They're on the other side of that ditch. I don't think I can make it to there. Why don't we try to go here, up here to this oak tree? I'll sit up right there. That's as close as I want to push it.
Don elects to use the eliminator slate call, hoping to persuade the two gobblers within gun range.
Jeez, how close they got. That eliminator slate just drove these birds mad. It has a great tone to it. Nice looking bird. Was that close or what? 5 yards. Oh, geez. What a hunt. That was exciting.
Believe me, there is no greater challenge than to try and pull an adult gobbler from a flock. But that is exactly what Mad Call's production manager, Tad Brown, is about to attempt. When in the heat of the moment, after having called a gobbler such a long way, taking a marginal shot is not the answer. If the bird is still moving and not alarmed at this point, persuade him a few more steps for a clear and effective shot.
Man, I can't believe we pulled them puppies across that field. Man, we got here late. They got down the field earlier, we're late one. I think we were running late. Anyway, we couldn't get set up like we'd like to, so we had to crawl the edge of the field. I couldn't get the decoy out far enough, so we crawled to the fence and got the decoy out as far as we could. And there was like 3 adults and 3 jakes and 4 or 5 hens, and man, they were bunched up. And they've been bunched up all season. We've had a hard time working them, and we finally got this one hen and gobbler pulled. And because of our situation, we had to hunt him laying down on our bellies like that. And they were hard coming, but we hammered them pretty hard, and they started coming, and we started kind of working them a little softer. But I think the hens is a trick. I like to always get my empty out of respect for the landowner. Hate to see those things laying around.
Mark and I were fortunate enough to become good friends as well as hunting companions with a team of experienced hunters, but relative newcomers to the sport of turkey hunting. This team has ventured across the country, hunting numerous North American wildlife. By capturing this expedition on film, they compiled a series of programs which recently aired on ESPN, entitled The American Hunter. John Ross and Jameson Parker were 2 of the catalysts behind this powerful series. Join us now as we share our experiences and techniques in preparation for their hunt, so that they too may enjoy the experience.
One thing that will help any turkey hunter is versatility. Right. And I preach that all the time in my seminars, just to remain versatile. Don't get set into just a mouth call or just a slate call or just a box call, because countless gobblers that you'll be sitting there working him with a box call, no response or very little, and then switch to a mouth call or a slate, and all of a sudden that fires him up. It's like you hit the sound that he wanted to hear that day, and I don't know how many times it's happened.
And vice versa. You can be running a mouth call all day and all of a sudden pull a box call out and strike it, and he'll gobble almost immediately. It just depends what trips their trigger, and not every call works for every bird. And a lot of times if a guy's been hunting a bird with a mouth call and he hasn't had any success, or is if he had success and he drew the bird in but he wasn't able to harvest him, he can change positions on that bird and switch calls and call him back in. We've done that numerous times, and it's worked out very well.
So a slate and a mouth call will be about as equally versatile?
Well, the mouth call depends on the user. For some people it's going to be restricted because it takes a long time to learn how to run a mouth call. Box call is probably going to be the easiest to use. Next, the slate call, the mouth call being the hardest to master, but it can be the most versatile. And certainly the most advantageous, because it allows you to keep your hands on your gun rather than operating a call. So each one has pros and cons. This is a slate call. It's a little call that we call the Eliminator. And it's a little different than most slate calls on the market. It's a graphite pot with a graphite sounding board in it, and we get some really good resolution out of it. Also, our peg is graphite. Probably one of the easier calls to learn. I always say it's as easy as writing your name, because it's basic letters that form the sounds. For instance, a yelp is a circle, like that. And you can see the circle I formed on the slate. The sound comes on the downstroke. On the backstroke, nothing happens. And you see there, I've not got over about 3/4 of an inch. As I said, the yelp conveys a lot of different messages. I use a yelp a lot in the morning, early. Real soft, almost inaudible, as a tree yelp. When the hen first wake up, she's going to yelp like that. And that's a way to open up a conversation with a gobbler, take his temperature, find out how hot he is on that particular day. If he answers it, you may not need to get any more aggressive than that. If he doesn't answer it, then you're going to step up the ladder a little bit. You're going to start going into the little bit more of an aggressive yelp, more of what a lot of people call a mating yelp. I prefer to call it an excited hen, an anxious hen, a hen that wants company. You can also use a yelp for more of a lost call, a turkey that wants company with other turkeys. He's lost or she's lost. It's a little bit more of a longer series of yelps, and they'll draw it out a little bit more, looking for another turkey. The yelp is the backbone of all language. I mean, when a guy comes into a store and picks up a turkey call, probably the yelp is the first thing he's going to try and learn. The next call he's probably going to try and learn is the cluck, or in conjunction with the purr, is a feeding type of call. It's a contentment type call, and it sounds like this. Where are you? I'm over here. Where are you? A lot of times the gobbler will come in and he'll be gobbling until he gets right about where he knows he should see the hen, and he'll start clucking, looking for that hen, wanting that hen to answer back, and you should do that. You should cluck back. Cutting is the same sound, but it's a faster pace call. When a wild turkey gobbles, he's reached his peak of excitement. I think when a hen turkey cuts, she's reached her highest level of excitement. Try that peg straight up, hold away a little bit. Now try your circle. Leave it on the slate. A little more pressure.
And not quite so fast. Slow down a little bit.
There you go. You got a good turnover in it. Up in your fingertips.
With the striker. Anchor the striker hand on the side of the call. Okay. There you go.
Hold that like a pencil.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I was just going to tell Jameson that the box call, you don't quite have the range that you do with either a slate call or a mouth call. You're somewhat limited to the number of calls that you can perform on a box call, and most people just use a box call simply for a yelp. It's just a nice yelp. A lot of people will run it a little bit harder. They'll start out soft, and then they can get a little louder. You know, so. And then you can also do a little bit of cutting. You can strike the paddle against the side a little harder. It's very loud.
Right, now that's a very excited hen.
Yes, that's an excited hen, and it's a good locator call. A lot of days, if it's real windy and you're out in an open prairie or something, hunting in Oklahoma or Texas or somewhere like that, you can cut, and it'll cut through that wind. It's a friction call. It'll cut through the wind, and they'll hear it many times that they won't hear when you're using a mouth call. M.A.D. Calls production manager Tad Brown assisted Mark and I with some realistic mouth calling. Tad opens with an early morning tree yelp, then gets a little more aggressive.
Man, that's turkey right there.
if that hen is real excited, and you're trying to convince that gobbler, okay.
And then if you want to, we want to cut to her.
Yeah, mix a little cutting in with that, Tad.
Okay.
All right, now let's imagine a scenario like what we were talking about earlier, where that gobbler's come in and you've got him coming in, but all of a sudden he's not quite certain what's going on. Maybe he doesn't like your decoy out there, and you wanted to do some feeding sounds, some cutting purrs to reassure him.
Clucking purrs.
Clucking purr. That's wonderful, like dueling banjos.
Now armed with an arsenal of mad calls, Jameson Parker and John Ross will venture out on their quest to enjoy the experience. Many of you may recognize Jameson Parker from his illustrious career as AJ in the hit TV series Simon and Simon. Jameson is still working on a number of current movies, in theater, and is also deeply involved with the NRA. Let's watch him try his skill on a Missouri Gobbler.
this particular farm's been hunted for 2 days, without a sound. We first heard him, we thought, about a quarter of a mile down, but it was so uncertain that just came on along, and tried to call one more time about 200 yards away, and we heard him real faint. He must have been, well, on the other side of that little ridge back there. And he came running over here and set up and used that little M.A.D slate call and just barely touched it. And he gobbled strong over there and cut back because they haven't been gobbling at all. And in he came, just gorgeous.
Go get him. Good job.
Al, you give me a hand? Sure the scale won't break?
Don't even hold on there long.
Right on the nose, 22.
What is it?
22 pounds. Right on the nose.
Window service today.
Yeah. What kind of spurt do we have on him?
1 inch.
1 inch?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what was the beard, what did you say?
9.
9-inch beard.
9 inch beard. Nice turkey. Nice turkey. So you
Thank you very much.
about ready to give this up now?
Are you kidding?
You'll be back. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Jameson's skill, along with a little luck, proved to be rewarding. Now I am joined by John Ross on an early morning hunt. John is the producer of the American Hunter series. Let's watch as he tries to match wits with that of an elusive spring gobbler.
Watch your step. Rock your step. let me check him here, see where he's at. He's right through there. I tell you what, let's get to that other bush. Why don't you sit around in front of that bush? Now, here you go. All right. Now you're not going to be able to move much because if we have any luck, he should pop out right in those cedars. He's just up in that cedar glade about 150 yards. He just gobbled again. He's coming. Better hurry. He's coming. Now, I want you to back in that bush. Sit back in there pretty tight. See, this kind of break your outline up. Here's you took your strap off, so it's right there. Right now, he should come out of those cedars if we have any luck. I'm gonna stay back here a little bit. Stay back behind you.
This particular gobbler was not gobbling a great deal on his own, but was answering strong yelps and cutting, which led me to believe that he may have hens with him. Therefore, I elected to try float calling, hoping to pull the group into John's position, or at least into view of the Featherflex decoys. Notice as the gobbler's interest was sparked, I continued with some hard, aggressive calling, hoping to keep him gobbling. This enabled me to maneuver through the cedars and actually steer this bird towards John's position, keeping the hunter safely between myself and the gobbler at all times.
All right. Yeah. Woo. Oh, man. All right, all right. Look at that. Oh, baby. Holy cow, look at that. Good job. Good job. Oh, man. Look at that. What a nice bird. He's a good bird. All right.
Looks like a nice bird.
Good job. Holy cow.
You know, he was back here for the longest time on the other side of the tree. I couldn't get a shot. I was just waiting and thinking, come on out. And you kept calling, and sure enough, here he is.
Well, I tell you, oh man, when I put you in that bush this morning, I thought that he would pop out of those cedars. You know, and I kept calling and calling. I found out that he was going to try and get below you, and I thought, oh boy, if he got around you, I was going to be in trouble. So I started to slip back through the cedars and try to circle around to pull him into your position. And man, once he spotted the decoys, he broke and came in. I know, I could hear him gobbling and gobbling, gobbling. I thought, man, he has got to be on top of those guys. John, that's a good bird. He's got a nice bird for a 2-year-old. Why don't we get a tag on him? Take him back to the truck.
I don't believe him for that, too.
Now let's join Mark on what turns out to be the most stubborn Rio Grande that he will ever attempt to harvest. Believe me, Mark's patience is beginning to wear pretty thin. But you know, when a gobbler gets under your skin, sometimes you will try almost anything.
It's going the other way.
If any of you know Mark like I do, I can tell you he is on a mission.
That. Oh, man. I quit. I'll never turkey hunt again. Oh, I quit. I am not believing that. That turkey was right there. It wasn't 30 yards. I don't believe that, man. I had that sucker aimed like a rifle. That's part of turkey hunting, I guess. It's a part that I don't like very much, though. That turkey was 30 yards. I don't know what happened. I swore I had it on his head. I guess I got too excited. Man, that turkey sure put on a show for us. The key to getting in and finally calling this turkey in to shotgun range, we set up on this turkey 3 different times. And he would come so far and then fade away. Come so far and fade away. And we finally heard a little hen talk with him, and we figured out why he wasn't coming in. He had a hen with him. So we had plenty of cover here. It's a little cedar glade on the side of this hill. And with the light wind, we felt like we could get close enough to where if we got close in on him, we'd fire him up and he'd come in. As windy as it is, I used a pretty healthy call. It was a little 4-reed cutter call that we call poison. And it sure seemed to be poison on him. Unfortunately, my Winchester 5s didn't make a connection though. God, I can't believe that. Sometimes you just got to reposition. If they don't come into your first spot, try another one. Find some place that they're comfortable too. In this case, we had to get close to him. He finally came in and gave us a look.
Let's crawl to the edge. Right there.
Don is another true believer in mossy oak. By giving two different sounds on two different calls, Don convinces this adult that there were two hens in the vicinity, which might be just what it takes to get him to commit.
nose. You bloody my nose. Look at that bird. You gotta see the spurs on it. Check them spurs out. It's a dandy. I know who's bleeding worse, me or the bird. That, my friends, is a nice bird. That eliminator slate and that simplicity push button. He just couldn't take it. He come on in. Man, what a beautiful bird. I'll tell you what I did. When I located this gobbler, he was just over the top of this hill, and I could hear hens with him. So what I did is I went to a two-call method. I started out with the simplicity push button, then I switched over and used the eliminator slate a little bit. Man, that's all it took. He was on his way. He rounded the top of the hill, and we did the job on him. He's got some beautiful spurs on him. Nice, long.
Jay elects to portray several different hens on an early morning setup. Obviously, the correct decoy placement was critical, and the flexibility of the Feather Flex decoys was instrumental in allowing this.
Tell you what I tried to do this morning. I tried to make, I used all three calls. I used the MVP, I used the Simplicity push button, and the hammer box call. And with three hens out here, had a flock set out. I'm sure I sounded like three different hens, and I think that's what really brought him in here hard and fast. He heard all these different calls up here this morning, and he come right on in. Boy, what an exciting hunt. Whew. Well, I tell you, that gobbler really liked these Feather Flex decoys this morning. Fortunately for me, after he came into the decoys initially, I had another bird come over here and he went over there to run him off. And as he was moving over there, he looked like he was close enough for me to shoot, and he was, but I couldn't see him because of the lay of the land. Always make sure when you set these decoys out. I got caught this morning setting them out in the dark. I couldn't quite tell the roll of this pasture here. And I almost got myself in trouble because I got these decoys too far up on the hill, and he was over the hill from the decoy strutting. Luckily, he came in on the ridge, and it paid off. But always make sure you're real careful about your placement of your decoys. They are very effective, and it'll pull the birds right into them, but you've got to make sure they're in a spot where you can shoot.
There is no greater feeling than to see a young adult become captivated by the sport of turkey hunting. Here my son Matt is mesmerized by the intense gobbling that is just music to my ears. Selecting one adult out of several is a problem that most turkey hunters don't mind being faced with. Bill's confidence in the pattern of his Winchester No. 6s, combined with his Mossberg, allowed him to harvest a fine bird at this distance.
What a hunt.
What a hunt.
God dang. They were really hammering this morning.
They were fired up.
There must have been 6 or 7 birds over here. There's one behind us.
Starting to get a little worried there when the 2 gobblers come running across that bottom.
I know. I was watching this bird up here. I had no idea that they were running across the bottom. It was a good thing you said something. Because by the time I swung around the tree,
Heck, they were right up here on top of us. That was just amazing. Did you see how they were running around in circles though?
Yeah, that was funny.
I thought we were gonna get to see a gobbler fight or something, because this bird up here met these two down here and they just started running around that middle bird. I didn't know what they were doing. I thought we were gonna see a fight.
I bet it was hard to pinpoint which one you're wanting to shoot.
Yeah, that's why I had to wait so long, because they kept running around. I had to wait for a good shot. I didn't want to, you know, accidentally hit the other bird and wound one or something. I had to wait till one of them got away from the other one so I could get a good shot.
Yeah.
But I tell you, it was a good thing I came out last night. I had this surefire owl hooter by Mad Calls, and when I hooted, I heard them gobbling on this hillside here. I worked my way down here, got a little closer, hooted again. They answered again. I was able to pinpoint, you know, I knew exactly where they're at on this ridge. So that's why I picked this location. We're in tight on them, you know.
Yeah. These Mad Calls, they're real easy to work, even for a beginner like me to use.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this Mad push button here is great for beginners. It's easy. It's one of the best sounding calls I ever run.
Better go get my pouch.
Yeah, you better grab it. Here, let me give you a hand with that. Gotta get your orange out.
Yeah, Dad tells me to put my orange out every time I go in the woods.
Well, he's right. You can't ever be too safe.